Hey guys! Yes, I know, this video is finally up. Today's video was requested by a classmate of mine because I started to use a bullet journal. What the hell is a bullet journal, you say? Well, that's the whole point of the video now, isn't it? So just keep watching. The whole reason why I decided to start a bullet journal is because of my current schedule, situation, life crisis. I'm kidding, not much of a crisis. Because of a variety of things, the school schedule and every other schedule at this point in time has been ridiculously inconsistent. When I was using a regular agenda, I found myself rescheduling, scratching things out, having to cancel, add new things in, then scratch those out, and it just was driving me nuts. Because of the inconsistency in my scheduling, the tasks I would try to assign myself for the day wouldn't get done, and then be pushed to another day, and then probably pushed to another day, and then another day. The point is, the typical agenda was not working for me. So I decided to pick up a bullet journal. Bullet journals are essentially, well, a book, but instead of having lines to write on, there's these little dots, like little bullets, where you can basically create your own template on how you want to schedule your week, month, year. It also allows you the space to customize different pages for different goals, different hobbies, and other projects. So let's get into how I customize my bullet journal. So my bullet journal I found on Amazon for about $8 or so. And I just liked the color, and the design was relaxing and super simple. That's the whole point of this bullet journal, right? Is to make things a little more simpler. So starting off, first page, I have my keys, or my indicators to what certain things would mean when I go to write tasks and events in my bullet journal. Going on to the second and third page, I have my index, which shows the page numbers and what's on those pages and whatnot. As you can see, I customized quite a few pages before going into setting up my schedule for the month. And typically people start these journals in January. Well, I didn't. So instead of writing the big 2018, I decided to write my plan for success. On to the next page, we have at a glance. So because I don't know how many months this bullet journal will actually hold, I only did up to August. And again, I just put like random doodles, whatever I felt kind of I wanted to go on that page. I didn't really have a feel, I just started doodling. Somehow I ended up doing fish and seaweed and the starfish. I don't know how. The boxes with the little circles in the corner, that's kind of where I want to see what my income and outcome is financially. So the first thing I'll write is what I have at the beginning of the month, and then in a different color I'll write what I have at the end of the month. And then I haven't really decided what I'm going to do in the circle yet, whether it's going to be like a X or a check mark or like a happy face or a sad face, depending on the outcome on how my month went. So you'll see that I have a bunch of writing next to each month. Those are the things that I know are going to be events that are not going to change, like 100% not going to change. So I put those down to then put into my weekly scheduling later. So flipping over to the next page, I left room in case I can fit other months in this journal. And then the page over, I have OSAP stuff. OSAP is something that's done in Ontario for student funding, if you want to put it that way, student loans. So I just want to be able to write stuff in there if I need to about OSAP stuff, whether it's money I'm getting or owing, and that way it's just there for me to see whenever I need to. Next is a little more exciting. It's a bookshelf. So essentially, when I go to read a book, I'm going to draw basically a book in the shelf and put the title of it. And the spark note side is, you know, in case you forget what the book is about, I'll write the title of the book and then kind of a little sentence of what the book was about, and rate it on a scale from 1 to 10 in the little boxes. And the next page, I have a list of what I want to read. So hopefully I can start checking stuff off sooner than later. And then to watch, so I separated it in movies and TV shows, clearly. And then I kind of regretted not putting boxes next to the movies and TVs, because it probably would have been nice to just check them off once I'm done watching them, but oh well. I can always scratch them out instead. And then to decorate the page, I obviously had some little doodles, and then I had found washi tape from Justice League characters. So you can see on the bottom the Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman washi tape that I also put along the side as well to be an easier indicator of what page that is, so I can get to it easier from when the book's closed. Because on the following page, I have another set of pages that I'm going to want easy access to. Page on the left, obviously video ideas for YouTube and stuff, and then I'm going to check them off. And then you'll notice I'll have little sticky notes to kind of like put in thoughts and other ideas to go along with the video idea. And then on the right side, I have a workout tracker. So I fill in a box every time I do a workout. And then just below that, I have the master grocery list. So it's just a list of items of stuff I get at the grocery store on a regular basis. So when I do go to do my grocery shopping, I can refer back to this list to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. And then the last page before I go into the month of March is the want and need lists. Because obviously there's a difference between something that you need and something that you want. But this page also just makes it easier to be able to reflect on what you need and what you want. Because you want to be able to check off the stuff that you need first before you check off the stuff that you want. So I obviously decorated the page for March with clovers, because St. Patty's Day is always on March. And then I made almost a little, like a note with a little pin in it. And that's kind of where I'd put like goals for the month, and that way I can kind of refer back to those to refresh on what I want to do for that month and be able to check them off, hopefully. So the next page, I have the habit tracker for the month. So when I post a video, when I post stuff on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, obviously you can see I post more on YouTube than anything, which I would like to change. Then below that, I have a mood tracker. I just thought it'd be interesting to basically kind of do a review of how my month went in March or in any other month. So each month I'll have both a habit tracker and mood tracker. And then on the bottom, you'll notice I put the word meditation for the mood tracker, just because I've been wanting to start a meditation cycle and see if it would improve anything. So I put down below, so I would basically fill in a box of if I did meditate or not, and then obviously it would reflect and see how it changed my mood for that day in the tracker. And then on the right side, I have March Memory Bank. So this would be a page where I would just want to throw in funny memories or things I don't want to forget for the month of March. Okay, now going into how I'm planning out my weeks. This process is really a trial and error to figure out what works for you. This is how I started off the month. I just sectioned it off by boxes, and then whatever room I have left on the page, I kind of made a list for remembers, things I don't want to forget. And then because Luke was coming up that weekend, I made a list of things I wanted to do before he came up to visit. And I like the way I have the letters and like dates set up on this page. I actually end up following through with the same designs for the other pages for writing down the days of the week and date. It just looks like some fun doodling, right? They don't look perfect, but that's what I like about them. They're not too hard to do. Like, just use the dots as lines for references to make sure they're the size that you want. Like, count the boxes and make sure they're not too big or too small or too wide or whatever it may be. Just don't doubt yourself. Like, just try, and if it doesn't work, like, it's not a big deal. So I try to do like a different theme for the following week. I don't know why, but I was feeling very much like a camping mood or outdoorsy mood. So I made the dates look like tree stumps. And yeah, and then I wrote the days next to them. And then obviously you saw like camping gear and outdoorsy design on top. I was okay with this layout so far. I just didn't know what the extra space to do on the right side on the bottom there, what to do with it. So basically I just put in like the random tasks or random things to do, I don't know, I guess I was just throwing stuff in there. But again, this is trial and error, so maybe this will work for you, but it ends up changing for me. And then you'll notice I have these little stickers where it says like winter break ends. These are stickers that I've had from previous journals that obviously just never worked out. So I'm just trying to basically use them to decorate in this bullet journal. So obviously I went back to the same colors I had before with the purple and blue. I'm pretty much somehow obsessed with purple and blue combination. I don't know why. And then I went back to using the same kind of numbers and like writing style, 3D writing for the dates and, oh god, I'm just gibberish now. As you can see, I went back to using the kind of same techniques for the layout and how to write and draw stuff. But I'm a big dum-dum and wrote month of May instead of March. Dum-da-dum-dum. So I figured out that this layout just wasn't working for me. I still found myself scratching things out or changing times or just like scribbling everything everywhere, and it still bothered me. I hated the inconsistency. It was still driving me nuts. For the following page, I apparently didn't get any smarter because I still wrote May, but I changed the layout. And this one so far has been working really well for me. On the left side, I just have the days, and I just put the events I knew were for sure happening, and then I can check them off once they were done. And then on the right side, I kept it need to do's and want to do's. That way I can just check them off whenever I've was able to accomplish them or finish them and not have them placed on a certain day because the days were so inconsistent that there was no guarantee I was going to be able to get whatever that task was that day done. And then I made little doodles of gemstones. They're not too complicated. They look complicated to draw, but they're not, I swear. It really is just a bunch of different angles and lines, and I just put different combination of colors that I thought would go well together. And then on the bottom I put washi tape. So the remember section on the bottom were just other events to just remember for later on to insert when the week comes that I go to make my next week schedule. When I make the schedule for the week, I create the pages a couple of days before just because things change so much that I don't want to start inserting things that end up changing a few days later. I changed up the colors a little bit, and I finally realized that it was March, and I really like the gemstone design, so I obviously kept that, as you can tell. And instead of checking off the days of the weeks on the top of the page, I just put boxes on the side of each day. On this page, I even decided to make the page numbers a little bit funky, making them gemstones as well. So this is what the end of my March looks like. Now I'm going to show you basically how I do my doodles and draw stuff and set up for April. So I drew out the outlines for what I was going to do already, just so this would be a little faster. What I do is I take some markers and I just start drawing. I know you guys might be looking at this and thinking, I can't write like that, I can't design like that, but do not stress out about it. Find a font on Word or on your laptop somewhere and type out April and print it out if that makes you happy, and stick it in the journal. Or trace it or use stencils or something. Not everyone can make the designs or do whatever they want to do all the time. I know I can't. Sometimes I have those days where I'm like, I can't do this. So I'm doing like the little goals box again for the month of April, and obviously for priority goals to graduate this first year of this program. And for theme design kind of thing, I wasn't sure, I wasn't feeling very spring-like, and I didn't care to really put flowers at the front of my page here. I don't think you can imagine me as a very floral person. So I thought maybe see this as more of a celebration month for trying to get through and passing this year. And I decided to make little sparklers. Kind of like, you know, like New Year's, how everyone celebrates with fireworks and sparklers and stuff. So that's kind of where I went with this theme. So as I outline things with my pen, afterwards I just erase all the pencil behind it with an eraser, and then I just color it in with the markers I have. Another thing you might be thinking is how much time I take to actually do this. I honestly just work on it a little bit at a time. Like, for example, deciding on what doodles I wanted to do and put in there. They're kind of just things I do, you know, during a break in my class. I would just open it up and just start trying to think of what I want my next layout to look like. Or even if you split it up and do doodles and take another day to just outline and then another time to color it in, it's all up to you. I know personally drawing is definitely a relaxed time, so I definitely take advantage of these periods where I get to doodle and draw and stuff. For April's habit tracker, not only do I have the YouTube and social media trackers, but I also added in how many days I spend in my lab practicing, so lab practice. And then I also put in no money, so I put no $, essentially putting down how many days I go without spending any money that day. This may get repetitive, but again, do not feel anxious or anxiety thinking that you can't write and doodle like this. Do not stress out about it. Just do what you can do and move on. Have like the stuff that you need is essential for you to succeed in your goals, and that's all that matters. Who cares if you can draw a little star? Who cares if you can't draw a little flower? That's not what's going to get you to your goal at the end of the day. Obviously, it helps to make your journal feel a little more appealing to your eyeballs, but find pictures online, print them off, or maybe make this a test for yourself to try to learn how to do some drawings. So for my mood tracker for the month of April, I tried something a little different. I applied the whole sparkler idea. The circle part are the days of the month, and basically, depending on how my mood is that day, is how far the spark is going to reach. So I put little dotted lines to be able to follow that I can color in with a yellow or an orange or whatever color I decide to make this sparkler be. So the spark will either be longer if the day went well, or it'll be shorter if the day my mood isn't so good. Doing the mood tracker with this design, I thought it would be a little bit more fun, because then by the end of the month I'll have this possibly colorful, possibly, you know, very small dim sparkler by the end of the month, and it'll just be interesting to see how it turned out. So again, after outlining everything, I just color it in with markers. But I'll go through at the end of this video what markers I use and kind of where I got them from, so maybe you can get an idea of where you can shop for markers and materials to do your bullet journal. So because I liked the layout that I did for the final week of March, I'm basically just going to be doing that again. The only real difference is that I added the date with the day of the week, because I always found myself counting which date was with which day, as silly as that is. But I do really like this layout. I like being able to check off when the day is over and what I did that day. And then on the right side, I'll have my want to do's and need to do's, and I'll check them off as I go instead of scratching them out when I haven't done it that specific day. And then I'll have the remembers on the bottom right page as well for when there's dates that are mentioned in class for tests or events coming up. If you don't think the layouts that I did for the weekly scheduling will work for you, there are so many other different types of layouts people do. You can find them on YouTube, you can find them on Pinterest, you can find them pretty much anywhere. Like I said at the beginning, it's really a trial and error to find out what will work for you. I know my method isn't perfect, and this will still be a live and learn process for me on how to organize for myself and set myself up for success. Please put them in the comments down below if you think you have any tips that would even help me. And if you've decided to try the same layouts I did, make your own bullet journal the similar way I did, feel free to comment down below and let me know if it worked for you. I know it drives me nuts when things get changed and canceled and stuff all the time, so this journal has really helped me just like relax and not worry about all these changes, you know? So as I'm writing stuff into what's going to be going on that week, I flip back to the remember boxes to see if there's anything that's supposed to be coming up that week. And then I also look back to the at a glance to see what events are coming up that month, if there's anything going on that week. All I've added so far was some washi tape because I hadn't figured out if I wanted to do gemstones again or if I wanted to just do fireworks and sparklers for that first week. So that's it. That's basically how I set up my bullet journal and how I do my weekly layouts and how I've kind of been trying to figure it all out. So quickly show you materials I use. I got these pens at Michael's. I absolutely love them because I love writing with purple and the teal is such a pretty color. I love these pens. They're so smooth to write with and easy to hold on to. I suggest them. And they also don't bleed through paper, which is great. These double-ended markers I got at Walmart. If you're not careful, they can bleed through the pages, so just try not to overlap each stroke of your marker, because then it might actually bleed through. Because I felt I was lacking variety of colors. So that's what made me get these. And also I like to be able to have that brush stroke tip of the marker because of the way I like to write my stuff. And this is just simply the pencil and eraser I use. Nothing fancy, get them at Dollarama. And then the pen I use to outline everything is like the Sharpie pen, and they don't bleed through paper, which is wonderful. And finally, the washi tape. This washi tape I got at Michael's craft store. It was just like a $12 bundle with all these different kinds, and it had little writings and stuff on it. I just thought it was a good variety of washi tape to go through any time of the year in any page I design, in any page design I decided to have. And then these were the first ones I bought. They were about $1 each at Walmart. I guess because of the cheapness, they don't really stick the greatest. More specifically, they don't stick for the corner pieces, because if you haven't noticed yet, I use the tape to mark corners for each month. That way I can just easily figure out where April starts or where March starts, and I can just grab that little corner and open up to that page. So that's what my bullet journal looks like. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to leave comments down below. Maybe let me know if you want to see my designs for the following month. Also, you should probably subscribe if you haven't already. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!